Da 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 da. Ba 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 ba. Drinking booze. Gotta get drunk. Gotta get drunk for Game of Thrones. Game of fucking Thrones. And drinking and puking and spitting. I love my rum. Drinking rum for Game of Thrones. Ba ba da ba da ba ba da ba da ba ba da ba ba. I'm running out of words. I can't keep singing about Game of Thrones. Ba da 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 da.
Holy shit, that was fucking awesome, right? Right? Oh my fucking god! JP, my man, Podeswa, whatever the fuck your name is, I apologize. I am down here saying gracefully that I apologize for my shittiness for judging you as a director. I realize now that there probably was some script editing issues in the premiere. The Hound thing, whatever, they disappeared. This episode kicked fucking ass. Let me get this out of the way. This is the best episode of Game of Thrones in a long time. Now, this isn't as good as Hard Home, the White Walker big battle episode from Season 5. But this is better than any other episode of Season 5, and it's better, in my opinion, than the last couple episodes of Season 4. I think this is the best episode in, like, over a season when it comes to classic Game of Thrones. Classic Game of Thrones is great dialogue conversations, great plot twists, great plot momentum, great geography, editing, cutting, flow. When the story flows this well, there's no better show on TV. This is like when Mad Men, when it was on, when it was at its best, where the shows are very similar. You jump around to a lot of characters, and you have a lot of narratives, but you have this extreme amount of wit in the dialogue, and the plotting is clever, and everything connects thematically. This piece connects to this piece. This episode's called Home, and it's definitely the theme of this. So many characters here go home, or symbolically, or at home, or it's about what you consider to be home, and it's so beautifully rendered. It's written by Dave Hill. It's not written by D&D. That might be why this episode really stands out, but we'll get down to every single bit of piece here. But for the most part, this is a great return to form, a great step in the right direction for Game of Thrones. I'm very excited for Season 6 now. I haven't felt this way about the show in a while. This is like, it just flew by. It felt like 20 minutes, not an hour-long episode. So, okay, let's go into the plotline stuff. This was Sansa, Theon, Brienne, all that stuff. Great scene, great way to start things off. Brienne actually telling Sansa about Arya, which was really bothering me. It's like, when you fucking bring that out, it's great to know that another Stark knows one's alive. I don't think we've had something like this fully, this kind of revelation, since like Bran and Jon had that moment in Season 4. Theon's moment with Sansa is just amazing. I know he actually says the line, "I'm going home," but it's probably the best scene these two have had. Really good dialogue. Really like how Sansa comes off here. I think Sophie Turner's become a much better actress. I used to have problems with her in the earlier seasons, but yeah, really emotional scene, great setup. I would go into detail, but it's just kind of a short little sweet scene, but it was a very nice indicator of good things to come. It just felt more sophisticated than what we were used to when we were thinking about last episode, The Red Woman. So really nice little moment here. Basically, I'm trying to knock out like the shorter stuff here before I get to the good stuff. I'm not actually going in the structure of how things happen in the episode, obviously, because we started with a different thing. I'm pretty sure we started with Bran, but I want to save the good stuff for later. I'm just going to knock at the quick things. Welcome to another edition of Arya, Daredevil Jr. getting her fucking ass kicked. I'm blind and stuff, and I'm walking. Oh shit, someone's beating the shit on me again. Oh, stop it. Oh wait, it's jogging now. What are you doing here? A girl asks no questions. If a girl does ask questions, a man only speaks in riddles, which doesn't allude to actually anything, and won't progress the plot because we must drag out your training. But the man at least showed up in this episode, so thus we may not have to watch Arya in the whole season getting her ass kicked on the streets. A man has nothing else to say. How fucking sweet was that Jaime High Sparrow scene? I'm so sick of Jaime being a pussy for like the last year and a half. He's been awful. This is classic Jaime. He's in there with the son. He's like, yo, get the fuck out of here. Daddy's got this. I'm gonna tell this religious guy, like, fuck off. Tense as hell. I mean, God, great dialogue, you know, like the god of spilt more bloods than all of us combined, and like you're like, shit, Jamie's gonna stab this guy. This is going down. Then they all show up, and you're like, oh boy, what? But the thing is, like, Jamie's not gonna be able to take out a bunch of these like religious fanatics with one hand. If Jamie had both of his hands, this whole scene would have ended differently. He would have killed all these motherfuckers. It would have been brutal. But still, it was a great setup for, like, to have Jamie finally, like, butt heads with the High Sparrow. Get so sick of waiting for this. Toman's all emotional, like, Mommy, I'm sorry. Mommy, I'm so sorry that I let them parade you through the streets naked. Oh, I'm horrible. Like, yeah, you're fucking horrible. You shouldn't be the king. You're a bitch. But now Cersei has her fingers all in him. So, yeah, shit's gonna go down in King's Landing. This was classic King's Landing. Oh, and Robert Strong, the fucking Hulk in this shit, holy fucking crap! When he smashed that dude's head in, and that wasn't the only smash scene. This episode was obsessed with smashing people. It was like, Kakarot, I'm going to smash you up against a wall, like a bug. That's what you are, Kakarot. A bug. Well, if you do that, Vegeta, I guess that would make us Super Smash Brothers. God damn you, Kakarot. Whoa! Nothing was better than 1-1 though. Like, 1-1 is the shit. Coolest giant in a fictional universe ever. Fuck Lord of the Rings, fuck other fantasy shows, fuck anime, I don't care. 1-1 is the shit. He just busts in the fucking, you know, the wall and he's like, smash, smash, smash. He Loki's the shit out of that motherfucker. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's like these little moments of excitement that remind you you're watching this big budget blockbuster fantasy thing mixed with these really intense dialogues. Things like to have a thing like King's Landing where it's dramatic and political and tense, and then to go to like you know, a Castle Black and have a giant burst through with a bunch of wildlings when, you know, guys are trying to break in and kill Jon Snow. It's like fantasy mixed with a medieval reality at the same time. This juxtaposition that D&D find between making a dramatic, grounded soap opera and a high-concept fantasy show is seamless in this episode. This episode goes back and forth and hits all beats. You get emotional, you get sad, you laugh. It's great. And then there's some really fucked up moments. But, yeah, kudos to the Smash guys. Like, whoever came up with, like, all the Smash this time. Great idea. Robert Strong, awesome character. Can't wait to see him kill some sparrows. So who didn't love Bran being in the Dagobah system? I mean, come on. Max von Sydow being in here and not being wasted like he was in Force Awakens. He has this great dialogue like, you do not want to be in the ocean too long or you will drown like memories, Bran Stark. And, like, Bran goes back and he's a fucking Jedi now. He, like, trains and we just see him laying there warging. And he's going through memories of Ed Stark. Veddard Stark. I mean, this is an amazing storytelling device. To have Bran go back and tell us the history of Westeros and let us see characters that have been dead that we've missed. To give us this emotional connection he's learning as we're learning. Oh my god. I mean, I want to see a whole season of this. I mean, fuck what else is going on. This is great. This is another mix of taking something like the grounded reality of the flashbacks, but Bran's magical abilities, like how he's at the top and then he's just walking on the bottom. I mean, I loved this. I thought this was great. I thought they did a great way of establishing the passing of time. I thought the mythology expanded. I mean, this was exciting. I have no issues with this scene. I love that it's like Star Wars. I love that it's Bran training to be a badass. I love Max von Sydow's There's the Three-Eyed Raven. I mean, please, I want whole episodes on this. I can't wait for the next episode with this. Oh yeah, and how about like one of the most emotional Tyrion scenes of the entire series? Did anyone see that coming? I mean, in the trailer when I saw he was going to see the dragons, the way I thought the scene was going to play out and the way they edited it was like they were going to blow fire at him and maybe you were going to find out Tyrion was a Targaryen or something, which would have been cool. But what they do so much better, some of the best moments of Tyrion is when his wisdom, intelligence, and wanting to know history and appreciating it and actually being a scholar in a way is what defines him so many, and what people don't understand about him, they don't appreciate him, how smart he is. And the scene where he's just, I mean, it's a hilarious dialogue before, like, you know, if I didn't have a cock, I'd drink all the time, which, just, holy crap, like, laugh out loud moment. It's like, okay, little Tony Stark, you go ahead. But then he wants to go fucking talk to the dragons, and he's drunk as shit. Like, they establish in the scene, like, Tyrion's lit as fuck. So, which is funny to say, he's lit as fuck, he's going to see dragons. But when he's like, oh, I wanted a dragon the same size as me, and here you are, you know, because he didn't think they existed. And then the dragons get that, and he touches them. The acting and Peter Dinklage's eyes and the way you believe those dragons are there. This is a more emotional scene with the dragons than I think Daenerys has had in a long time, which is it's shitty to say, but love the relationship here. Love how the other dragon turns to unlock mine. I mean, that's what a great little moment. It's exciting to know, once again, plot progression. We know now the dragons are going to probably be getting out soon. We see Tyrion building a relationship with them. Oh my god, you mean no filler? Yeah, this is what every episode should be like. Every episode should have scenes like this. When we cut to a location, something should happen that moves things a little bit forward, just a little bit. God damn, what about the fucking deaths this week? I mean, I think the one death did happen in the books, at the Iron Islands, the Ironborn, which looked beautiful, by the way. What a great location. I'm so glad we went back there. We've been there forever with Yara and them. But going there, oh my god, gorgeous. We meet, I think his name's Aaron. I'm bad with names, so you're going to have to forgive me, but he's like, I am the storm, brother. I am the storm. I've come to take the throne, and the King's Moot stuff's going to go down soon. But holy shit, great cinematography. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful locations on the show. Please keep coming back here. Love the introduction of the new character. Love that scene on the bridge. I mean, I really didn't see it coming. I didn't know how it was going to play. I was like, this is a little telegraphed. He's probably going to kill him, but the attack and the cut and everything, it was still intense. I mean, it was a very tense scene. It makes it convenient that he just showed up at the bridge and was like, I'm waiting for you, but that's okay. That's okay. The other one that was really interesting was Roose fucking Bolton. I mean, the Red Wedding guy. The guy who stabbed Robb Stark, one of my favorite characters. So it's like, I hate you. And I was building up thinking that Roose was going to kill Ramsay. I thought Roose was going to kill Ramsay because of the son and because of Ramsay fucking up so much. I thought that's where they were going. So they really tricked me when Ramsay actually did it, especially this early. I thought Roose would go a few episodes, and then, I mean, it's kind of dumb. He hugs Ramsay and he's like, hey, fuck you. And then, you know, like, why is Roose so stupid? He knows Ramsay's evil, wears his guards and shit, and then he gets stabbed. But it's still effective. I mean, I wish it hadn't been so quick as it was, but it's still like, it helped move things forward. Now we know Ramsay's in control of the North. We know the Umbers are back. We know that Ramsay's going to try to unite the North. We know he's probably going to get Recon Stark. We know that the big battle's coming, and we know he's trying to attack the castle, and he has no idea the wildlings there and stuff. So it's exciting because there's so much outer story going. And then the horrible death of the baby and the mother with the hounds that I can't even... There was some humanity in Ramsay in that moment. Like, there's a moment on his face where he was kind of like, fuck it. But it's still... Ramsay's coldness is just so fucking brutal sometimes that I don't like it. Sometimes it feels like he just veers into, like, just... Joffrey, there was a nuance and complexity at least to it, and you kind of get... Ramsay, I've never fully bought him being such a psycho, but these are still really effective deaths. Her death is heartbreaking. The idea that a baby gets killed, which, you know, Season 2 they did that. This is the first time they've killed babies on Game of Thrones, but this one's very, like, direct. They don't show it, but they kill her off. These are great effective gut punches. Haven't had a moment like this in a long time. Both scenes feel really quick. And, yeah, everything just keeps moving. You're, like, non-stop, like, oh my god, what's going to happen, you know? I mean, it's exciting. The resurrection of Jon Snow. Okay, two things here. We all knew Jon Snow was coming back. If you're one of those people that said Jon Snow wasn't coming back, you're just a fucking idiot. It was the most telegraphed thing that was ever done on the show. He got stabbed conveniently on the stomach, nowhere stabbed in the face or eye. I mean, Game of Thrones usually makes a death pretty damn permanent looking. So, I mean, and honestly, Jon dying would have been just such a shitty way to tell the story and just leave the entire northern plot line pretty much aimless. I mean, I'm sorry, that would have been bad storytelling. Most of the deaths on the show only add to the plot and the poetry. This does not. This would just take away from it. It was a little bit of a cheat. I think Martin cheated with it a little bit. I think D&D did the same thing. But luckily, we didn't have to wait a whole season to see Jon Snow came back. They bring him back in the second fucking episode. Thank God. Awesome scene. Davos goes in and he's like, fuck all the gods, they're all fucking the same, which seems true. And he's like, let's get this shit together, baby, we got this. I still don't like that Davos just wants to bring Jon back, because it seems way too convenient to just have him do this, but that's a minor complaint. Her going in there and the magic, and they try to build it up like it's going to be this big moment. Like, when she does other stuff, and then it's not, you're kind of like, oh shit, maybe he's not coming back. It's a great little moment, because you think maybe they'll cut to black here, you won't know till a couple episodes in. then Ghost moves, and you're like, oh shit, not my boy, and then, oh, I'm alive! I mean, it's like, oh, I mean, I was fucking cheering. I mean, it was like the end of Return of the Jedi, you know? Not the special edition cut with Jar Jar, but it was like the original ending where all the Ewoks and shit and we're all celebrating. It was great, great final shot, great cap up to a badass episode. We all knew it was coming, but they put it in so early that you didn't know it was going to happen in episode 2. It was like, oh, is it going to happen in the first episode or down the road? Putting it right here was a great little moment. It kind of makes up for the slow, meandering start of the first episode because so much happened here. This was a packed episode. There was a lot of shit going on. Never felt like overstuffed. Never dragged. It was a busy episode. But I like busy episodes of Game of Thrones. I like when a lot of stuff's going on. I like when the writers throw a lot of content at me and have me have to, catch up and talk about fan theories all week. This was awesome. Melisandre was awesome. Davos, all the characters had great moments this week. All the dialogue was on point. There's some logical flaws, but they're minor ones this week. They're not big ones. And the moments, the effective ones, I think kicked ass. I think they really hit home. To get right down to it, this is one of my favorite episodes of the show. I mean, I'm not saying it's the best episode or that it's, top 5 or anything, but I think if you had to rank, 10, 15 best episodes of Game of Thrones, I think this is the show when, it's at its best in season, 1, 3, those moments. I think the show started very much like a novel, a dense novel adapted into television. It felt a little bit like The Wire, and slowly it's become more and more a TV show. And I know there was a disconnect with some fans and people because they felt like the show portrayed its sophistication to be more of a crowd pleaser. I think this episode is what they've been building towards. The bad guys are very much distinctly the bad guys now, and the good guys are very much the good guys. There used to be a gray to Game of Thrones, and I miss that somewhat too. But the gray's only gone because they've killed off so many characters and the plot's coming near its end. We know eventually it's going to be everyone versus the White Walkers. So all the pieces have to get knocked off now for the final endgame. This episode really felt like the endgame was coming, and that's why it was so impactful. Because nothing in a long time besides Hardhome in Season 5 really felt like we were going to that next major step in the story. It felt like we'd just been walking around in circles for the last couple of years. Now, it's like, okay, major things are going to happen this season, and there's not going to be a lot left. I think Daenerys is going to sail to Westeros at the end of the season. We're finally going to get that shit. So I have so much hope. JP totally stepped up as a director. Beautifully directed episode. Great editing, great flow. This episode gets a 9.5. It's not a 10. It's not a masterpiece, but it's a fucking great episode of Game of Thrones. The main thing home here is that this is like being back at home. This is the Game of Thrones that makes me so comfortable, warm, and fuzzy, and I want to watch every Sunday. I mean, it expands the mythology, it gives us great character moments, and it's a singular episode that you could rewatch for all the themes and things that it has in it. And I love those episodes so much, like Kissed by Fire or so on, where I can go back and watch them just for a bunch of moments, and I don't even have to watch like 3 or 4 episodes in a row. This is actually a very good standalone episode, too. It's just a really well-executed piece of television. I think you're going to hear about it come during the Emmys. So, yes! We are back! Owie! Vegeta, why?
Why? Because I fucking hate you!
Oh. Well, I guess that makes sense.